Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Espionage and Cold War drama. Dana Andrews starring in I Was a Communist for the FBI. This episode from June 4th, 1952 is entitled Card Game in the Clouds.
I was a communist for the FBI. Starring Dana Andrews in an exciting tale of danger and espionage. I was a communist for the FBI. Many of the incidents in the story you are about to hear are based on the actual records and authentic experiences of Matt Cvetic, who for 9 fantastic years lived as a communist for the FBI. Here is our star, Dana Andrews, as Matt Cvetic. 9 years. 9 nervous years. Always looking over my shoulder. Because if I didn't, my head might roll when I didn't want it to. Years of isolation and tension. Being alone in crowds of comrades. A long, hectic dream. But now that it's over, the dream is more real than ever. For all of us now. Now, here is Dana Andrews as Matt Cvetic, Undercover Man. This story from the confidential file is marked Card Game in the Clouds. The federal courtroom is jammed. There's no stir and no sound in the room except the voice of the attorney for the federal government making his opening to the court. Everybody in the room knows that this matters. This is important. This is part of an enormous struggle for our survival. We listen spellbound.
And we shall present witnesses whose testimony will prove beyond any shadow of a reasonable doubt that these defendants, all members of the Communist Party, have been guilty of sedition, seeking the overthrow of the United States government by force, and by force of arms if need be. We are ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Are you ready to leave, Mr. Cvetic?
Who are you?
Come with me.
Give me one good reason, and maybe I will.
Revchenko wants you.
Revchenko?
Not so loud.
Headquarters?
Certainly not. I'm to telephone Revchenko that I've found you. He'll pick us up at a spot that I'll designate.
You must be quite a gal with the party.
I am.
We'd better go. Revchenko is an impatient man.
Comrade Cvetic, you know that we wish to know at all times where our comrades are and what they're doing.
You seem to know where I was, Comrade Revchenko.
Only because you were seen in the courtroom by a comrade.
I've been looking all morning for you.
Oh, so the lady tells me.
The lady is Comrade Laura Black.
Comrade?
Comrade.
Well, I'm ready for orders.
When we reach the city limits, this automobile may have been wired by the FBI. We will abandon it to talk.
Interesting problem, Comrade?
When we leave the car, Comrade. Here, this will do. I'm about tired of walking in fields.
Well, Comrade?
Comrade Laura, I'm out of breath. Begin for me, if you will, and be direct.
Comrade Cvetic, you and I will meet a plane at Municipal Airport tonight. The plane is from Washington, D.C.
Oh.
I will meet a man coming off the plane.
What about me?
You will stay in the background. The man will give me a portfolio, which we will deliver to a comrade in New York City.
The Park Lowell Hotel. You will take the night train.
Does it take 2?
If one of you is detained, shall we say, the other must get through with the briefcase at all costs.
Should I know the contents of the briefcase?
No.
Simply follow orders and to the letter.
And the letter is?
Exactly. You are to report to a Mr. Penrose at the Park Lowell Hotel tomorrow night, no later. Mr. Penrose has made elaborate and delicate plans for leaving the country Friday night.
With the briefcase?
Of course.
Suppose Laura and I become separated and she has the briefcase. Do I report to Mr. Penrose anyhow?
Yes.
Empty-handed?
Yes.
Okay.
A good stroke, huh, comrade? Our executing this audacious move during the communist trials when the FBI expects us all to scurry into hiding.
Oh, yeah. It's a good time for us to move.
You have a revolver, Savetic?
Yes.
Take it with you. Take all orders from Comrade Laura.
Is that all?
See to it that one of you succeeds in getting the information in that briefcase to New York. That is all.
Hello?
Mr. Oxford, please.
Who's calling, Mr. Oxford?
Cambridge.
This is Oxford. Go ahead.
The boys dragged me out of the federal courthouse this morning for an assignment with all the romantic gingerbread. Mysterious gal, briefcase by plane from Washington, D.C. Gun-toting.
Hold it.
Yeah?
Where did you say you're calling from?
Pay station, drugstore, 12th and Main.
Fool with a sandwich there, and I'll pick you up in exactly 10 minutes.
Sound big to you too, Oxford?
10 minutes.
The FBI has been waiting for this chance for a long time, Matt. This looks like it.
It felt important the second that gal tagged me.
Vital information leaks have been occurring in Washington a lot too frequently. We've wanted to know how the commies do it. This looks like a look-in on one of their methods.
This could be my big moment.
It's peculiar. Why do they want you to report to this Mr. Penrose Friday night, even if you don't have the briefcase with you?
For discipline, I suppose. That's what worries me.
Matt, we want you to deliver that briefcase.
Believe me, I want to deliver it, too. If only as a personal health measure.
Keep in touch all the way, Matt.
Stay with me, boy, huh?
We will. We'll be with you at the train. Sort of.
I pick up Laura at 6. We drive to the airport and wait for Flight 695 from Washington, D.C. to taxi to Gate 5. A tall man in a flapping topcoat and dark glasses steps out of the plane. He's carrying a briefcase. I crowd the wire fence for a good look, but the girl pushes ahead of me and faces me. Her eyes are cold toward me, but I sense an inner excitement in her manner. I'm not the guy that's exciting her.
Please go inside and wait for me.
Why can't I meet the gentleman from across the Potomac?
Do as I say, please.
You're pretty set on my not seeing your boy up close.
And you're set on seeing him close. Why?
Just being a good party member is all.
More like one of those contemptible FBI plants who are going to testify at the trial.
How does that figure? That's a rough remark, Laura.
Then please don't intrude until you're needed. Now go.
Yes, Sergeant. I go inside and wait, doing a slow burn and starting to worry a little. 5 minutes later, another plane is announced departing for Washington, and Laura comes into the waiting room with the briefcase. She also has a smudge of lipstick on her cheek.
Thank you for waiting.
Where's the watch on the Potomac?
He's on the way back to Washington.
I'd be glad to carry your school books for you.
Thank you, but I'll carry the briefcase. Wait here.
Again?
I'll pick up our plane reservations.
I thought you said we were taking the train.
We were. Now we're not.
That can be confusing.
I mean it to be confusing.
Well, you made it, sister.
No objections?
I don't like to be treated like the bourgeois rich relative while I'm an accredited and trusted member of the party. Unless maybe you don't trust me. I don't know, do you?
Do you trust me?
Let's say I trust Comrade Laura Black. But plain Laura Black, who isn't plain at all and with a smudge of lipstick on her cheek, may be something else again.
Warren and I happen to be in love.
Oh, Warren, is it?
And you'll forget it, do you hear?
The tender passion and the party.
Is it quite all right with you?
The question is it all right with the party?
The answer is that if we weren't in love, he wouldn't be doing this for me and the party.
Flight 802 for Buffalo is now loading at Gate 7.
Well, I'd better hurry and pick up our reservations.
No hurry. That's 8:02 for Buffalo.
Yes, that's for us.
We're going to New York.
By way of Buffalo.
Why?
You'll see.
Passengers for flight 802 for Buffalo, please board your plane at...
You wait here. I'll get the tickets.
I look around for a telephone booth. I've got to let the FBI know that I'm flying to Buffalo tonight instead of training out to New York. All the phone booths are filled and people are waiting except at one where a soldier is talking and smiling in pantomime behind the glass door. Come on, soldier. I'm next. Ring off. Hang up. Because if that briefcase that Laura Black carries under her arm gets to Moscow, it may wipe that smile off your face for good. And for a lot of other guys like you. He keeps on talking. There's the telegraph counter. I go to the counter and scrawl a message and hand it to the clerk, just as Laura Black's hand reaches past me and takes the yellow blank out of my hand.
May I, Max?
You may not.
Oh, private?
And personal, and you're getting pretty personal with my privacy.
There's no such things in our lives, is there?
Go ahead, read it.
Mrs. Vettick.
My mother.
Who is Mr. Oxford?
A prospect of mine.
What kind of prospect?
Insurance. I sell insurance as a front as well as a livelihood. I've got to live while I'm serving the party.
You tell your mother to phone this Mr. Oxford at Crest 2211 and tell him you're flying to Buffalo tonight.
Right.
Why?
Mother expected Mr. Oxford and me for dinner tonight before I took the train. I want him to know my plans have changed, and we can't dine together tonight.
Crest 2211.
That's right.
Why not telephone him?
The booths are full.
No, they aren't.
They were a minute ago.
Better still, let me telephone him.
What for?
Well, you'll think I'm your secretary. It does make an impression.
Oh, no, not with smaller investors. They feel somehow it runs up the cost to them.
Oh, I'll know how to talk to Mr. Oxford. You wait here.
No, Laura, no.
Wait there.
Oh, no. I'll wait. If it kills me. And if Laura makes that call and they tell her there's no such person there, I'll wait. I've got to. I've got nothing to lose but everything.
From June 4th, 1952, I Was a Communist for the FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medishare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medishare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medishare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it. Find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
People today don't get that there was a time that telephones were on the wall, not in your pocket, and that you couldn't just text somebody. Amazing times. I Was a Communist for the FBI, June 4th, 1952, The Card Game in the Clouds.
Now back to Dana Andrews, starring in I Was a Communist for the FBI, and the second act of our story.
Laura Black goes to the telephone booth and stops there, fumbling for a coin. I shove the telegraph blank at the clerk again and hand her $2 and start after Laura. If she phones Crest 2211, the unlisted FBI number, there won't be a Mr. Oxford there, not for her. If Laura Black calls and doesn't get Oxford, she'll be more suspicious than ever. I'll be in trouble then. I reach her side just as she finds a coin in her purse.
I thought I told you to wait for me.
Well, I saw you needed some change.
I have it now, thank you. Excuse me.
Well, Laura, look.
This is the last call for
Wait.
passengers for Flight 802 to Buffalo, now ready to depart.
Oh, dear.
Oh, never mind. It's all right. Oxford will understand.
Well, we'd better hurry. We mustn't miss connections with our man in Buffalo. Come on.
In the plane, Laura and I play canasta with cards furnished by the stewardess. The briefcase on her lap serves as a table. On her lap. Somehow, I've never even touched the leather portfolio. So far, I'm excess baggage on this assignment, and I don't like it. We play indifferently at first, idly. Then, as the coveted stack of cards on the briefcase grows larger, the play grows tense and watchful. Strangely, some enormous stakes seem in the balance. Our playing is careful and charged. Stuck? All out of wild cards?
Oh, I may have a throwaway or two left.
Sure. Fatten the pile for me to take.
You don't want the pile, do you? You're ready to go out.
Okay, I'm ready to go out.
Agreeable monster, aren't you?
Play.
I just can't help it. I gotta give you the deck. There.
I don't know. All at once, the innocent card game in the clouds is a clue to another, more sinister game that lovely Laura Black is playing. She's trying to keep me in the deal until she can raise her score just enough to win. It's like putting me on an important job for the commies, so that the FBI won't want to call me off that job, even to testify at the trial. If that's the game, then they know I'm an FBI spy. Or do they? For a long time, I stare at my cards unseeingly. A long time.
What's the matter, Matt?
What?
Make up your mind. We're coming into Buffalo.
All right. I'm not going to bite.
You refuse all those juicy points?
Yes, I'm going out. Operator. Oh, operator, I was connected with my party long distance. There's no time to...
Hello? Hello?
Oxford?
We were cut off. You say you were calling from Buffalo Airport?
Yes, and I want to know if you heard from my mother. I wired her to call you.
She called. I recognized her voice and got your message.
I wanted to be covered here in Buffalo.
Don't worry. Where's the girl?
Getting plane reservations for New York now.
Go ahead, then.
Look, does this make sense, or am I getting in an uproar? I just got a brainwave that the Reds know I'm FBI and are letting me string along here so they won't call me to testify. Or am I screwy?
No, you're not. It makes sense, Matt.
What do I do?
Play the game out to the finish, that's all.
Stay with me, fellas. Stay with me, huh?
On that, you can depend.
I've got to ring off. Here comes the gal. So long.
So long.
Buffalo American Products Corporation.
Baxter and Baxter Law Offices.
Fantis and Arbogast. Stop here.
May I help you?
Yes. Will you tell Mr. Arbogast that Miss Black is here?
Oh, yes, Miss Black. He's expecting you. Go right in.
Thank you. Will you wait out here, Matt?
What else have I got to do?
Give me your revolver, please.
What?
Your revolver.
Why?
Because I asked for it.
Don't you trust me with a gun?
Perhaps I don't trust Mr. Arbogast without a gun.
I have definite orders from Revchenko to go armed.
You have definite orders from him to take orders from me. Your gun, please.
All right. Don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Thank you. Wait here.
I sit in the small waiting room of Fantis and Arbogast advertising, waiting. The typewriter thumps louder. My heart begins to stumble crazily. Needling perspiration chills my whole body. Panic takes charge. I stand up. Get out of here. Run for it. If I did, would that crisp piqué blouse reach for a gun and start shooting? Nonsense. That best girlfriend of the bride wouldn't shoot anybody. But I don't try to go out.
Thanks for waiting.
It's been a joy.
Here's your revolver.
Thanks.
Come on.
thought you were making plane reservations to New York. How come the bus?
The object is to deceive.
Deceive who?
The FBI.
Yeah?
Just for example.
Good example.
Well, you know they have stool pigeons among us.
Yes?
Then why do you ask such stupid questions?
I happen to be stupid.
I wonder.
I'm especially stupid about that gun in the waiting room.
We won't discuss it.
All right, you do all the talking.
I want to go to sleep now.
I'll take care of that briefcase for you if you
I'll
like.
take care of it, thank you. Good night, Mr. Svetic. It's gone.
Huh?
The briefcase is gone.
What? Shh. When?
I don't know. I thought you might be able to tell me.
Well, I was fast asleep. Hey, what kind of a lopsided remark do you call that anyhow?
Never mind.
Never mind. You sit there and imply that
well,
I may...
We both can't sit here and argue about it.
What are we supposed to do about it?
Yes, what will they do about it? June 4th, 1952, I Was a Communist for the FBI here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We'll hear the conclusion, along with another episode of Claudia, following these words from your favorite station.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily, without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now the conclusion of I Was a Communist for the FBI and the Card Game in the Clouds, June 4th, 1952.
Well, I'll have to go back and report to Revchenko, and then call Washington.
See if you can get a new set of data?
Yes. You go on to New York.
Without the briefcase?
We haven't got it, have we?
What happens to me, arriving empty-handed?
It'll be worse if you disobey orders. Hold the door, driver. I'm getting off here.
Laura is gone, the briefcase is gone, and we're underway again. In the gloom of the bus, I check the chambers of my gun. The gun is still loaded. That's something. And another thing is that I'm still safe. It's still dark when we roll into New York. I go to the hotel. There's a note waiting for me. Meet me, Pier 11, East River, urgent. No signature. I go outside. My throat is dry, and my palms are moist. Meet whom? Why, on a dark, lonely waterfront. Taxi! The bulldog edition of a paper on the driver's seat. The headline says, FBI plant takes stand against accused Reds today. Now, if the Reds suspect me, they can knock me off. And no bearing on the case whatever. Here goes. Pier 11. The darkest hour before dawn. Waiting behind a stack of packing cases. Waiting. Steps. I slip my revolver from my shoulder holster, slip the safety catch, and wait. A beam of light spears my eyes and I go blind. Blind and wild, and my finger tugs at the trigger. Nothing happens. The gun won't fire.
Hold it, Svetty.
Who is it?
One of the cartridges might be good.
Oh, Oxford.
Yeah, I'll take the gun now.
You left that note in my box.
Sure, I didn't know if you or your comrade contact would check in first. In fact, I couldn't be sure it was you until just now.
You can get killed that way.
Not with your gun. It's full of blanks.
Blanks? Well, that's why Laura took my gun away.
Now I'll take it, Matt.
They do suspect me, then?
If they did, they wouldn't have loaded your gun with blanks.
I don't get it. I give up.
Our agents checked all landings at Buffalo until they latched onto you and Comrade Laura. They tailed you to Fantas and Arbogast.
Advertising, go on.
After you left, we picked up Arbogast on a long-standing illegal immigration rap. They can't possibly connect his arrest with you. While we were there, we found out that Fantas and Arbogast advertising is a cover for a microfilming laboratory up there.
That tiny film thing?
Tiny enough to roll up and fit into a cartridge, emptied of powder, and the lead replaced, yeah.
Are you telling me they microfilmed the stuff on that briefcase and put it into the cartridges of my gun?
Huh? Here they are. And they didn't go off, did they?
I'm in trouble.
Comrade Laura never lost the briefcase on that bus. Our agents were on board watching. She slipped it to a Confederate while you slept. We let them. We'll get them in Washington when they try to put the data back in the files.
Yeah, and I'm in trouble. I've got to go back to the hotel and give Mr. Penrose, whoever he is, my gun with those microfilm bullets in it.
Right.
You got it.
Here's your gun back.
Well, what about the bullets?
It's got bullets, with doctored microfilm in them. I've reloaded your gun with FBI prepared ammunition. It'll make the Kremlin very, very happy with you, Matt. And it won't do them any good at all. Feel better?
Clever, you bourgeois bloodhounds.
Oh, we got to be, or we'd all be in the doghouse. Get going, Matt. You don't want to keep the Kremlin waiting.
I leave Pier 11 feeling great, exhilarated. The card game in the clouds has come down to earth, with plenty of inside stuff for high stakes. And I've won. And then I think, no, the game isn't over yet. I've just won the deal. The long gamble is still ahead of me. And when the final chips are down, I'll be on my own. I'm a communist for the FBI. I walk alone. This is Dana Andrews with a word about the story you've just heard. In this story, as in all others, names, dates, and places are fictitious to protect innocent persons. Many of these stories are based on incidents in the life of Matt Cvetic, who worked undercover for the FBI. Next week, another fantastic adventure. Join us, won't you?
4th, 1952, I Was a Communist with the FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
It's a big, bold story set in the heartland of America, along the edge of Lonely Mountain, and open for business. And so Big William Gorgon, played by handsome Michael James, fiercely set down his Midwest roots.
Oh, darling, we're going to sell bathrobes and raise chickens.
Set adoring wife Wilhelmina, portrayed by beautiful Glenda Olsen.
Oh, I love our store, Will.
But they hadn't counted on Big Ralph's bathrobes and cattle store coming to town.
Oh, Will, what will we do, Will?
Will had a plan, a way of facing off against tough Big Ralph. We're going to change the face of America. We're going to advertise.
Ad for what?
With print, broadcasting, and bus benches, we're going to tell people who we are and where we are.
What's a bus?
And so the story of how one man brought advertising to the heartland.
Oh, will it work?
It will. Well, my name ain't Will, Wilhelmina. We got to advertise or we'll die. And so the greatest marketing story of all time is here. Advertise or die, dopey.
Put your message on this national advertising platform. Email classicradiotheater@gmail.com. classicradiotheater@gmail.com. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, another episode of the soap opera Claudia from June 4th, 1948.
And now, Claudia.
What are you doing?
Working.
You don't sound it.
Why don't I sound it?
Oh, I don't know. Humming and fidgeting around. You just don't sound like a man working. Besides, you're awfully willing to be interrupted.
That I was interrupted in my train of thought does not indicate willingness. It merely indicates that I was interrupted. What do you want?
Nothing. Then you weren't working, you were only thinking. So I really didn't interrupt your working.
I was thinking about working.
Oh. It's a beautiful day, isn't it?
A wonderful day.
There are clouds over on the horizon, though. It might rain later.
Do you think so?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'll be perfect.
With Gertrude doing the wash, it'll be perfect for ducks.
For trout, too.
That sounds silly. What difference would it make to a trout whether it rains or doesn't rain? He'll be wet in either case.
It seems to make a great difference to the big ones. Just before rain, they sort of sense it and stare around, and sometimes you can catch the wily old fellows.
Ugh.
What?
On your desk there, I thought it was alive. Oh, it's a fishing fly.
It's a quill Gordon.
You mean there are different kinds?
Well, there are about 600 different kinds.
600?
And this particular one would be just about perfect for the smart old trout that Roger and I came on the other day. He was having absolutely none of us. We used every trick of the trade on him, and it didn't work. He nuzzled Roger's fly and spit it 5 feet in the air. He just swished his tail at me.
This sounds very personal.
It is.
I always thought men just went fishing for fish, not just one particular fish. Do you know what I think?
I haven't the foggiest idea of what you think.
I am thinking that you are wasting your time with that far-away look in your eye and the Biff McDonald.
Quill Gordon. There's no fly called Biff McDonald. Although the name sounds like it might be a good idea.
Now you're interrupting me. I was just about to tell you what I was thinking.
You told me. You said I was wasting my time.
Oh, you interrupted me before I got finished.
Oh, sorry.
What I was trying to say is that you're wasting your time trying to work. In my candid opinion, you ought to go fishing.
Oh, but my work.
Do it later.
Get thee behind me, Satan.
And push. No, I really think you should go.
You do?
Yup, I do.
Well, since you insist.
I insist?
But it's much against my will. Come here.
Why?
Because I want to kiss you.
There's much to be said for trout fishing.
Come with me and be my love, and we will some new pleasures prove. On golden sands by crystal brooks, with silken lines and silver hooks.
That's nice.
Anne Dunn thought so, too.
Who's Anne Dunn?
She was the beloved wife of John Dunn, and one summer morning about 330 years ago, she prevailed upon John to go fishing. Oh, very much against his will, too.
Did Anne go too?
That the poet did not tell us.
But he asked her, come with me and be my love. Well, I'm waiting.
Would you really like to go?
I'll be very quiet.
All right. It's a deal.
And on a bright summer's morning in 1948, Claudia, the beloved wife of David, Where to fishing?
Oh, a-fishing we will go, a-fishing we will go, a-hi-oh, Badario, a-fishing we will go, a-fishing we will go, a-fishing we will go. Shh, 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 shh. The pool's just beyond that clump of thicket over there.
This is like stalking big game in Africa. There's more to this than meets the eye, isn't there?
And the less that meets the trout's eye, the better. Now, just over there.
Where?
Around that bush. I see the glen of water right through there.
Oh, yes.
Uh-oh. Do you see what I see? A barefoot boy.
With a fish pole and a string of fish. Maybe he won't mind your fishing the pool with him.
Fisherman's ethics. The pool belongs to the first man on it.
Ethics? And a 12-year-old boy?
Well, ethics have to begin at some age in life of man.
So they do.
And if I'd been here first, he would have respected my priority.
Oh. Or you would have taught him some ethics.
Anyway, he's probably banged around so much the fish wouldn't bite again today anyway.
This could be a tender point of ethics.
Oh, hello, son. How's luck?
Oh, I caught this here string.
Oh, quite a collection. Just about one of everything there is. Sunfish, a perch, a chub.
And a bullhead.
You didn't catch all of them here, did you?
No, I caught these in a little pond across the road.
And, what do you expect to catch here?
Oh, I'm not expecting. I've got over-expected.
So young to be disillusioned.
There's trout in this here pool.
Really?
And there's one great big one. He's a sockdologer.
You don't say.
He's all of 15 inches.
I'll go along with you on that, but I bet he's close to 20.
You know him then?
Oh, my husband knows him intimately.
I don't know him as well as you do, son.
Well, I discovered him last year. I come here all the time, but nobody's caught him.
I know 2 men who spent an afternoon and didn't catch him.
It'll take a real fisherman to catch this here fish.
Experience has brought me to agree with you. But you're trying.
Nah, I just come here to look at him.
But you're fishing? Just on the chance?
Nah, I got a worm down there, but I'm not fishing for that big fish. I might catch some silly small trout, but that big fella, he won't be took on no worm.
He won't, eh? What would you suggest for the big fella?
You wait around a minute or two, and he'll show you what I would suggest. There's a hatch on.
A hatch?
A hatch of flies, lady. Oh.
Maybe with just a hint of blue in them, huh?
Just a little blue.
Like this one, maybe?
Gee, ain't that pretty? That's a humdinger of a fly, mister.
A humdinger to catch a sockdologer.
It'll take more than just having a fly before you have this fish. This here fly'd have to float down through the air without a splash on the water. And if it was dropped just right...
That's a pretty big if, son.
This is a pretty big fish. And if it was just right, he wouldn't take it like no ordinary trout. He'd look at it and size it up. And then, just for the heck of it, 'cause he ain't hungry, he'd flip up through the water and take it from on top.
I can see you know this particular trout pretty well. Just where would you put this fly?
Just over there at the edge of that slack water beyond the eddy. You just watch there. He's there, all right.
There's a swirl on the water.
That's him, lady. Now wait. There he is.
There he was.
A real sockdologer.
With shoulders on him like a steer.
All right. Go ahead, mister. Try and catch him.
You sound like you hoped I wouldn't, son.
No, I hope you do. If you catch him, you're a good fisherman. And that fish belongs to a good fisherman. My dad would have caught this fish.
Your dad?
Yeah, he was sort of hurt in the war and he died.
And not having a fly rod, a fly line, 9 foot of very fine leader, and a quill Gordon, this trout is sort of out of your reach.
Well, even if I did have, I wouldn't catch that there fish.
You mean you wouldn't want to?
No, I mean, I wouldn't have the know-how to cast it just right. Now, my father, Hey, mister, what are you doing breaking the hook off that fly? You won't catch no fish without a hook on your fly.
I've got another fly. Just now, I'm getting ready to catch some, know-how.
Some what?
Some know-how. Come on, let's get back here in this meadow out of sight of the pool.
You're going to cast from way back there?
Yep. We're going to do some casting. Some dry casting. And I've broken the hook off so we don't snag it up in the grass.
In the grass?
There is method in, shall I call it my madness?
Gee, mister, this rod is a
humdinger?
That's right, a first-class humdinger she is.
You're something of a first-class humdinger yourself, darling.
Now, come on back here in the field, son.
Okay.
Now, hold up the rod this way.
Like
Here
this?
you go. Yeah, get it with this hand.
Okay.
Now, bring it back.
Uh-huh.
Not too far. Not too far. Now with your wrist, not with your arm.
David is starting to cloud up a bit.
All right, darling. Now, come on, son. Let's get back to the pool.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'll put the fly on with the tint of blue. Now, put your fly behind that eddy.
Mm-hmm.
All right? All right, son. Now, make your cast.
Look, mister, maybe you better do it. Only a real fisherman's going to catch this fish.
Well, if you catch him, that'll make you a real fisherman.
Well, all right. Here goes.
All right. Let it go now, just like I showed you.
I did it.
You'll never make a better cast. Now, don't move that fly. Now, easy now. Take in a little of that slack line. That's it. That's it. Pull it in just a little bit more. It's now or never. It's not. And it's now.
You caught him.
Strike. He's on.
What'll I do?
Keep your line taut. Don't give him any slack.
Okay.
Now he's turning. He's heading this way. Now reel him in.
Uh-huh.
Come on, reel him in. That's it. Take your time. Don't get nervous now. Don't get nervous.
Don't let him
Now watch
go.
him dance on his tail.
He's huge.
He's the great granddaddy of them all. Now in with him. Come on, bring him in. Bring him in slowly. Now don't get nervous, son. Don't get nervous. Now don't give him his second wind. That's the boy. That's the boy. Now into the shore. Come on, bring him in now. Bring him in. Bring him in. Over here by the net.
Get him. Gee.
I get him. Well, fisherman, you caught yourself a fish. He's better than 20 inches.
Gee.
I couldn't say it more perfectly myself. Gee.
Wait till I show the fellas down at the corner store. Wait till I show my mom. Gee, thanks, mister. You're a real sport. My dad never caught a fish as big as this.
You're quite a sportsman yourself, son. And with that fish, you can prove it to anybody. Your dad would have been proud of you.
I can't wait to show it.
Well, you run along now and show it to your friends and to your mom.
I won't forget what you showed me. My own dad couldn't have showed me how better. Gee, thanks, mister.
Are you going to fish some more, David?
No, I think the fishing's done for the day.
There are other fish in the stream?
None quite so big. He was the one I was after.
You just let that little boy catch him.
Well, I had my fun out of it. The fish really belonged to him. He discovered him over a year ago.
I discovered something a year ago, David.
What?
I discovered the most wonderful father my son could ever have. I never really knew how wonderful until I saw you with that little boy.
Well, darling, that sort of makes up for the trout.
Kiss me again, and I'll tell you something else about my son's father.
Lady, consider yourself kissed.
He's a humdinger of a sockdolager. Oh, a-courting we did go.
A-courting we did go. Hi-oh the dairy-o, a-courting we did go.
Hi there, Mr. King.
Why, hello, son. Say, that's a pretty big fish you've got there.
That's a trout, Mr. King.
Did you catch him all by yourself?
Well, I had a little help, you might say. That fellow who just moved up here, Mr. Norton, let me use his rod and his fly, and he taught me some know-howing.
And, what?
And together we sort of caught this fish.
Well, that's pretty generous of you to share the credit for a fish like that.
I guess he taught me something about being generous, too, Mr. King. He could have caught this fish by himself, but he let me do it. Say, Mr. King, I heard Mrs. Norton say something about their son. He wouldn't be about my age, would he?
Well, in a manner of speaking, their son isn't yet. But he'll be along in a week or two. But before he gets here, David is going to have some real boy trouble on his hands. Young Jeffrey Killian, his partner's son, has some troubles bigger even than that fish of yours.
Oh, nothing could be bigger than this fish.
Well, they seem bigger to him. Hang around next week. Maybe you'll meet young Roger.
Okay, Mr. King. I'll be seeing you.
Goodbye, son. I'll be seeing you. Every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again Monday at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir.
June 4th, 1948, Claudia on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. A couple of folks that moved from the city to the country and settling in nicely, wouldn't you say? Thank this radio station, support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. Also, don't forget, if you miss a day, you don't have to miss a show. Our shows are also available on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, bunch of other places. Search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. You can also find them on my webpage, classicradio.stream. Thank this station and support their advertisers. Tell your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.